Hi everyone, in this episode I'm going to test what acetone and turpentine does to an original omega assembly enamel dial. I'm using an original dial because I don't know what material exactly is the lacquer, and I'm going to test these chemicals because I'm wondering whether they can be used for cleaning, and I'm wondering whether for example, let's say you bought a watch with a glue on the indices, whether it's safe to use this chemical, or whether when they touch the dial, does it instantly dissolve it? How dangerous are these chemicals? And I'm going to pick a spot, for example here, and touch it with acetone and immediately clean it with a cotton. Oh, I got acetone on here, 99%. I don't think the effect is that severe for 99%. I mean, you can definitely see it scratch the dial. I wonder how it's going to be with this cotton ball. If I immediately clean it. And if I clean it with water, natural water. Let's 1 second. I'm going to use a cloth. So acetone only stained the dial. You can barely see it. It definitely damages the dial, but not in a severe way. I mean, definitely doesn't instantly dissolve it and damage it. So I think it can be used around the dials if you are careful, especially on indices, with the watchmaker cotton pads instead of these off-the-shelf cotton pads that are not precise. So it definitely mats the lacquer, but not in a rate that is too alarming. And because I used 100% acetone, and I use quite a bit here too, but the damage isn't that extreme. Now I'm going to test turpentine. I have turpentine here, which is an art supply, and I'm going to apply it with a toothpick. And I've chosen this spot. You can see it on the dial. Let's clean it. And this one doesn't seem to do anything to the dial. I can see the effect. And now I'm going to use it with a new cotton pad and apply a bit more, quite a bit more. It spilled some. One second, I will clean this on top. Turpentine was safe to use on the dial. I can't see anything. Now I'm also going to test later on whether how turpentine affects with, for example, super glue and regular, let's say regular glues. Maybe you know those glues. School kids use it. I have a dial that is either super glued or it was glued with those off-the-shelf type of glues, and if turpentine, for example, dissolves that easily, I'm going to use turpentine while cleaning. I actually don't intend to touch the dial at all. I'm only intending to graze in this slowly, like in this nature, and with a loop as well. But worst case scenario, let's say something happens. Let's say you hear a gunshot and bam, touch the dial. What happens is the question. So I want the operation to be 100% safe if possible, or maybe I'm going to test diluted acetone, for example 10% acetone, and whether 10% acetone dissolves close acetone. But in any case, the result is that acetone definitely tarnishes the lacquer layer, but turpentine doesn't. I mean, I applied quite a bit in a bad manner too. It spilled, and normally if you, for example, spit on the dial at this level, it will stain, but turpentine didn't stain at all. So it seems safe to use if you wipe it within the minute. I prepared the text mixtures. This one on the left is clear glue. It's the one that addicts use. You probably know the smell too. It's a professional brand, but it's basically the same glue chemically. And this one is a Rebel super glue. You actually can't even see the super glue. It's applied to 3 points, but under this light I'm having it very hard to see. Without light you can maybe see it on the sides. Yeah, I think it moved downwards too, since it's not really very binding for this application. I think on the dial that I want to improve, basically clean the index. That's why I chose this coated buckle, since the index is coated similarly as well. I think clear glue is used. It looks like clear glue. So this will be the important experiment. And this one I'm curious. So we will see. So I extended the experiment a bit. Added more spots to test on. And also added UV glue. It's actually more likely that UV glue could have been used. But if someone is decent enough to use UV glue, why did he actually apply it over the dial and not under the dial? This is another question as well. So maybe clear glue is more likely for such a person. I also researched things a bit to not reinvent the wheel too much. It said that turpentine is actually not really useful on dissolving anything, which is actually a good thing if you use it only for cleaning. But why would you clean a dial is another question. I also got something called a debonder. It's basically aimed for super glue, but some of them are marketed as UV glue removers as well. I got the cheapest one I could for testing, which is from a chemical company. So cheapest doesn't mean it's actually bad, since it comes from a company that only produces chemicals. I'm hopeful that debonder will actually be the chemical to use. Maybe if it's safe to use on, I guess it depends on how the solution applies. If it's maybe like oil-like, maybe not a good idea to touch the dial with it, even the index. I guess we will see how it actually debonds. I removed one of the dial indices, and I actually did it very roughly, using holding the dial in my hand and extremely forcefully pushing it out. And then I wiped the dial as much as I can. Basically it touched my hand, and I actually had to use an extreme amount of pressure underneath with needle, but you can see how well the dial survived. Apart from the acetone stain, you can see any new issues. This was already here. It's a reminder how bad dials get treated. You see stains and damage, and even forcing it this way, just touching it, scratching it, wiping it, it holds its own, and it's a good reminder also how sturdy dials are. I treat them very gently normally, but it's I guess relaxing to assess their strength. This one survived well the abuse, so they are not as brittle as they look. I cut the furniture feet off as best as I can with the scissors. Now I'm going to make sure it's loose when entered, and then I'm going to apply clear glue and glue it, and then afterwards I'm going to try to scrape the clear glue off forcefully to see whether the clear glue can lift the cracked enamel off and damage the dial. This way I'm going to see whether using mechanical scraping is a good option for removing the glue. You can see the indice being loose, so I achieved what I was trying to achieve. Now I'm going to glue it from the side and spill the glue over to the top, and then try to scrape that top glue off, leave the base as it is, as it doesn't look bad in the dial that I'm trying to clean, and basically I'm going to imitate a mechanical cleaning scenario. So I applied the clear glue, and I've checked the dial I'm trying to improve as well, and this is 1:1 exactly how the indice looks. And it actually looks better if you look at it with regular eyes. Actually mine is actually looks a bit better too. You can, and there's just a small dot on the side. So my approach is this. I believe in the future there will be an optimal solution, for example a chemical that dissolves only clear glue and doesn't even affect the lacquer. If we analyze the lacquer and clear glue, I think a chemist would easily find something that affects one but doesn't affect the other. I believe in possibilities like this. The technology might improve, and there could be nano solutions that just scrape these chemicals from the top, something like an art restoration machine, let's say, art restoration done by machines. So my approach is just improving the looks a bit. Basically my approach is going to be maybe mechanically scraping the top a bit and side a bit. Other than that, it doesn't look bad, and these enamel dials already are a bit crowded. So once I improved the top layer a bit, for example I ruined the top layer on this watch, these glare much better, but these, you can notice the issue on this one. I tried to stain it as best as I could, and on my second try I managed to add this side glue from the right side. Anyway, so 100% it was clear regular glue used. From the bubbles it's easy to deduct, and finding a solution to removing the clear glue, I hope will solve my issue. I think acetone will be the solution, and I've researched these debonders are probably acetone. Someone commented that he basically overpaid for acetone. I suspect it's going to be acetone. The scant will tell. Anyway, I'm very hopeful and I want to maybe perfect my method on these 4 indices and actually improve the dial I'm trying to improve later on. Now I'm going to try using thinner on the dial, thinner for oil-based paints, enamel paints specifically, and I use this for enamel-based paints, so it's something I normally use as well. And I applied a little bit of it with the wooden stick. You can see the application there. And now I wiped it, and so far it appears for a short duration safe, and it didn't even affect the glare, as you see. And you can see the acetone glare here, but other than that nothing affected the glare yet. Now I'm going to apply quite a bit more using this cotton pad. Basically I'm swiping the cotton pad right now. You can see the area here, quite a large area. Now I'm going to wipe it off. Let me wipe it off and come back. I didn't even need to wipe the paint thinner, by the way. It evaporated on its own before I could use this temporary cloth to wipe it. So it's definitely safe on the dial, an oil-based enamel thinner. For short durations, it doesn't even affect the glare. Now I wonder whether it can do any cleaning. For example, you can see on this 3 o'clock indice that there is some staining under it. Maybe it's good for cleaning. Let's try cleaning with thinner a bit. 1 second. I applied quite a bit more than I was intending to. And made quite a mess, sadly. Let me clean this and come. It doesn't do anything to the dial in terms of cleaning as well, because as I see those were scratches. But sadly I dislocated my test in this. So while I dislocated it, maybe I should try thinner on it again. But I don't think this thinner does anything to the clear glare. It doesn't do anything here. It's still holding on the indice. Now I'm going to clean it and move on. Now I'm going to test whether turpentine does anything in terms of glue cleaning. Since it was safe on the dial, I'm just going to go ahead and apply it. As you see, the glue is stick to the lacquer layer, even though the indice has been removed. Turpentine is doing absolutely nothing to the glue, sadly. So at this point I'm pretty sure acetone is going to be the only solution for glue removal. I'm going to go ahead and test acetone on different glue types too. Starting with clear glue. It seems to definitely dissolve it, soften it, and It's definitely affecting the glue. As you see, the glue is soft now, so it definitely works on clear glue, which isn't too surprising, to be honest. Now I'm going to try super glue, and I guess I'm going to try this one. I think it dissolves super glue too, but let's try somewhere on the buckle. I'm going to try at that point in the buckle. Managed to completely remove it, but after soaking it quite a bit, so it wasn't like magical dissolution. Now I'm going to quickly try UV glue. UV. It doesn't seem to affect UV resin as much as it affects other glues. I mean, it definitely works on UV resin as well, but slowly. As you see, that dot is almost gone now. So basically, it's no surprise, but acetone worked on all three types of glues, but obviously it's not safe to use on dials. It's very, very dangerous. Since I was most interested in clear glue, this experiment only showed that this acetone, while risky, it works. Now let's try turpentine to continue the experiment. One moment. I'm going to try turpentine on clear glue. It doesn't really do anything as far as I can tell. Does nothing indeed. Let's try it on super glue. I don't think it does anything to super glue. And now let's try it on UV glue. I mean, it works at dislodging UV glue from this clear film, but I don't think it actually dissolves UV glue, turpentine. Now I'm going to try it on the buckle, on the side of the buckle. Actually, it's very good at dislodging UV glue from the buckle, so for cleaning furniture, if it's UV glued, this could be a good option indeed. So turpentine and UV was somehow a match, but since it doesn't dissolve but dislodges, you will likely have, it's probably good for removal, but it's not good for cleaning, is my conclusion. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this experiment, and to continue I'll probably experiment and train with these precise cotton pads using acetone. Probably apply glue on top of another index and try to wipe it and see whether the acetone soaked on this cotton pad moves down onto the dial. So basically that will be my next step, but I don't know whether I'm going to proceed with cleaning the top of the index or not at this point. It seems definitely risky. It's a bigger dial, and this move seems safe so far, especially if the acetone isn't that much soaked. But to be honest, I'm not too sure. I will need to get it on the sides as well, and side faces, and the actual sides I will probably use this. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides to the index, I guess, since there are bevels. So I'm going to target 3 sides, top and angled sides, and not touch the left and right sides. So that will be my next step. Thank you for watching, and I hope it was somehow helpful. If you are going to clean a dial, at least maybe you can skip one step this way, and have a good day.